Done this type of design work with product companies, like medical device companies in their product development area, and with the college and the strategic plan for the college. We have a framework that would be something that, as Bruce has said to us, would differentiate Whitley County and a lot of the counties throughout the United States in terms of having the system design approach in your plan.
Is that we're not experts in county government, but we're hopefully expert facilitators, that we can get the experts of county government to find ways to agree on what to accomplish and set forward that path for implementation.
And that's really what's exciting about our approach, is this idea that you can bring together people who work with organizations, with companies, with our university. We have people that have very different needs, very distinct ways of operating, yet you can't deny that they're interconnected. And if we design our work and we come together, what we want to achieve as one body, as one company, whatever it is, the entity that we're working with. You come in cross-functionally, you look at the different divisions or agencies or departments, and to understand how you can work together and connect the dots between the things you're doing to achieve the overall mission.
I've got to say that the meetings that we've had, I think I've been with 2 meetings with the systems engineering group, and it's been exciting because of the fact that I don't think that we've ever looked at doing a type of mapping for county government, so that how do you determine how one decision or one department affects another department? And so that's one thing that really I really think it's a great program. It'd be great to be like a pilot program for Purdue, but it's just something, since we have 4-year terms. With the 4-year terms that we have, there's always people changing, and if our processes are mapped out, I think that it's going to be a lot easier for year to year for people to determine how to run county government. Any questions?
Sounds exciting to me.
Yeah. Have you done any of this kind of work before, or are you using us for a guinea pig?
Yes.
We worked with the CHIP for Children program, and that would be the closest thing and program that we've worked on, and college strategic planning. So the interesting thing is about the system design is it's all about meeting customer needs. So in some ways, I think the methodology applies and the approach applies to any type of organization or system. We've also done some work with healthcare and system design. So I think that is also related.
I think there's a lot of power in doing design too, where the people involved in the design really feel for their customer. I think in your guys' position in government, you feel that strong connection to your constituents, that you're trying to do the work you do, not for yourselves, but for your customer. And so I think that helps the design process quite a bit. We see it lately.
So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so we have a lot of customers.
Yes.
I mean, Jana, for instance, is an elected official, so she has to be treated like a customer. And we have processes, especially when you think about, say, the budgeting process, right upstairs. Information has to be gathered, and it flows right down the line. So if we can make those processes more efficient, the only problem we're going to run into perhaps is the state will tell you, the state tells us how this process has to work. But if we can make it easier and more efficient.
We recognize constraints in systems like that, where there may be regulations or policies required to follow, and those will be.
Quite frankly, and I don't think it's a secret, I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag, government can be completely inefficient. Simply because if we didn't have somebody looking over us, we could do things so much better. I think we all came in thinking we should run this like a business. Well, you can't. You know, the state and the feds won't let you run it like a business. You've got to run it like a government. So regardless of how good we feel, but if your program can help us be more efficient,
I think part of the approach too would be to decide on what we would like to pilot, and so there might be some initial work to think about the system design map and create high-level definition and description of requirements, but then say, okay, we should simulate one process, design one process like that group that you see in the photo there. We had the president of the company, it was Canadian-owned, but the president and chief operating officer were there. And they were all part of the operation. We brought in not only the president, but people on the associates, and everyone got on the same page about how they would like. From that, the idea is to create what's called the standard process or standard work. That, we think, is the foundation for being able to have it documented. Even if there are governmental or state constraints, at least we know those are constraints, and that's part of the process.
Yeah, so you're kind of lead into a question. So where do we go from here? Where do you start at?
Well,
Who gives us some suggestions? Because you hit us up with something that. Now what do we do? I said.
That's a very good question, and I think in some of our initial discussions with John, Bruce, and George, that we thought about how this might look at the whole county level. We also thought that that's probably a big thing to bite off at first, and probably the introduction process would be finding a project that we could work on that's a little bit smaller in scope. And then probably is working with the county to identify that smaller project as a kickoff.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I think at this point, we're probably going to take it under consideration, and we'll talk about it, and be in contact with you and keep in contact with you, because I think we all believe it's a great concept, and it's needed.
I think we need to think about what processes do we want to look at first and go from there.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have John Myers, South Whitley Redevelopment Commission, TIF District.
Yes, so as you may or may not know, the town of South Whitley established a redevelopment commission earlier this year, first of the year, and have been in the process of getting organized. And the idea being that in order to redevelop downtown and also do some development in the industrial park, the undeveloped areas of the industrial park that they all have in place, that it would make sense to establish a TIF area so they can, anything that they invest in and make better in the downtown or in the industrial park, that bring those revenues back in to the to that area to reinvest in the area. So so we're in the process of going through all the paperwork to set that up. But one of the issues that came up in those discussions is that there are 6 lots in the industrial park that are not currently a part of the town. They're located within the county. And so these 6 lots, well, I don't know, I can't remember, did I send you copies of the map, or you have those?
So,
So what we're talking about for the TIF area is the striped area, the green and pink striped area at the top. And if you look there, you can see the town, the boundaries of the town that kind of cuts across midway through the industrial park. And so what the Redevelopment Commission would like to do would be to include those 6 lots in the TIF area, but again, they're outside the town limits at the moment. And so in order to do that, they need to get the permission of the county commissioners to do that. We talked about this with the County Redevelopment Commission because alternatively, the county already has a redevelopment commission and could take responsibility for developing that area already. But I think I know the thinking was, after discussion with the Redevelopment Commission, that it would be a lot easier to simply allow the town to go ahead and incorporate 6 lots into the TIF area and not have to coordinate with them, just kind of let them do it all at once, and then it's a organization. And so I'm here to ask on behalf of the South Whitley Redevelopment Commission for permission from the commissioners to allow the town's redevelopment commission to incorporate those 6 lots in their TIF district that they would like to establish. We currently have that scheduled for September 27th, the discussion and vote on that, and so that's why we're here today to talk. Also asked Randy Kokel, the town council president, if he could answer any questions that you guys might have.
Any questions?
First, the only one I have, if this is moved into a TIF district, then the property tax off of this district goes into the TIF monies. And so any additional buildings that would be built on this would not benefit the town or the schools. Is that correct?
Or township.
Correct. So yeah, so the incremental amount for that redevelopment would, at least not until the TIF area expires. Now that's a little more limited than what it's been in the past, but that's right, Tom.
But what we have now is a baseline, and that would still go to the school system.
Right.
And the school funding is not so much of an issue because that's funded through the state now. So it impacts their construction budgets and their transportation budgets. But I've had conversations with the previous superintendent spring about this, and he was in favor of it because he feels that if this redevelopment's done, it'll bring more families to the school district, and then they'll get more per student money per.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They'll come out ahead.
That's a good point, yeah.
Now this on this map, and you're talking about this area that's striped.
Yes.
Now, who owns that property today?
I think there's.
It's not the Redevelopment Commission or nothing like that. It's still privately owned.
Mm-hmm. So 5 of the 6 lots are owned by, I believe, Simon Dragon or Whitley Manufacturing. Mm-hmm. And the 6th lot, I believe, is owned by the folks who own HA Machine here in town. They had bought the property originally and then ended up buying the building on South Line Street, and now they're building a new building.
So with those ownerships, there would be no opposition to forming a TIF district from those owners?
I talked to Drew Wellborn at Whitley Manufacturing, who's kind of Simon's right-hand guy. course, they like it because it gives them the opportunity if they want to put up a building or do something, whatever. Assistance and then the infrastructure build out, that sort of thing. The HA machine folks don't care either way because they have a new building and just want to get rid of the property. Of course, it makes the property more valuable for them if it's things that can be done to help a new buyer build on it.
Is there water and sewer in place in this total area?
Currently water and sewer, and there's also fiber, but the fiber isn't turned on. So, again, that might be something that the redevelopment.
Anything else?
No, I don't personally see any problem with it. I would make a motion to approve it.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the TIF district, the 6 lots adding to the TIF district for South Whitley.
There's an actual resolution.
Okay.
No.
Did you bring it?
I didn't bring them to it.
Okay, resolution number is
2018-05.
2018-05.
Okay, I'll amend my motion to that we approve resolution number 2018-05.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second. Further discussions?
Is there any end in sight, or is it like the other ones that we're used to that seemingly goes on forever?
Now, the legislature changed the statute, and I can't remember, it's either 20 or 25 years is the limitation on it.
20, yeah.
One or the other.
One or the other, okay.
One or the other. So that means at the end of that, though, that it's over.
Yep.
Unless they redo it.
Pardon me?
Unless they redo it again.
No.
Randy, did you have anything to add to this?
No, I'm just here in support of Nathan and John, and yeah, we would appreciate it if go ahead.
Okay, Randy is the town board president for South Whitley.
You know, I don't have any problems with it, but I just had some questions that I wanted to like to have answered.
Okay, no further discussions. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Is this literally the document, or we get?
I printed one off and brought it, so.
Do you want us to go ahead? Okay.
I don't think there's anything.
That's the last version. There wasn't any, wasn't Greg have some?
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
See you, Randy.
It was like
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Thank you, John.
And usual that this piece is clear down here too.
That's
Yeah, I
within,
don't think that, those pieces are,
no.
it's just must be this part up here. It can't be all of this. So that's right in the whole town.
What's the other side of, or First Street or wherever that road is there?
Trying to think what that
There.
I guess I honestly
West
thought,
35.
I honestly thought we were talking about this area right there. Because it's in the county, not in the city.
I think it was this area here, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Brandon Forrester, our Highway Department Engineer and Director.
First on my list of updates is a salt barn update. We had special meeting on September 7th to accept the low bid. And the contractor, we had a pre-construction meeting last week, and the contractor tells me that for their performance bond, they need a contract. So they provided a contract to us. It's a 2-page contract. I asked Matt to review that, which he was able to do. I've read through it. I know I got it to you on very short notice, but it's would you say a pretty simple contract?
2 pages.
I think
The only language we didn't like today was minutes.
Right. It kind of just memorializes. Apparently, our accepted Form 96, which is State Board of Accounts form, was not enough for them. So that was, I would request, respectfully, if you see it fit, to allow the chairman to sign 2 copies of that, and we can move forward.
I would make a motion we allow the chairman to sign if the contract says owner. Is that, that's the line?
The county. The county,
Okay.
yes, under owner, yes.
Yep. Okay, I motion to approve the contract and allow the chairman to sign as the owner.
Okay, we got a motion to approve signing the contract as is for the chairman to sign. Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you, Brandon.
There's another copy.
They're going to be
Last line,
starting.
they request 2 originals, one for them, one for us.
Is there a start date?
Right now, the plan is for Ryzen Excavating as a subcontractor to begin, well, actually, they're going to work for us directly to reroute the sewer line, the city sewer line. And then they will begin the site work for the salt building as a subcontractor for DP construction. That is to start this Thursday.
Okay. How about a potential end date?
Well, right now, as I mentioned briefly at the last special meeting, there's a slight delay in acquiring the reinforcing steel because of the lead time and the fact that it's all epoxy coated. So their schedule currently shows a completion date at the end of December. From looking at their schedule, I would say they have some float time. I let the owner, the contractor, know that we'll do whatever we can to help, short of doing the work, to at least keep them on that schedule, or ideally we would be finished by the middle of December. Either way, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
We've got salt ordered. We're going to be fine. We still have a place to store salt until the building is complete. So there's light at the end of the tunnel, regardless.
Sounds good.
In fact, we have begun some clearing on the property. The fence to the west between the road and between Line Street and where the building will be needed to be removed to facilitate their relocation of the sewer line. And there were some trees in there, and we've got that out of there so YJ can get in there and relocate that. While we were at it, we decided it would be the northeast corner of the property where we originally thought we might want to put the building. It was kind of a collection of things back there, some old culvert and barrier walls and guardrail and things that have just been kind of deposited. We went back here and cleaned that all up, cut some volunteer cottonwood trees down, kind of clean that area up. That way we can use that we're at least temporarily storing some emergency management vehicles back here. And we also got the old grade all and the old chip spreader put on the GovDeals website.
Yeah, good.
So we'll move them back there, get them out of the way also. So we've kind of opened up a little staging area back here, storage area, and kind of cleaned up a little bit of a mess. So
Appreciate your work with EMA to find that place. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Community crossings. That deadline for applications is approaching rapidly. It's actually next Friday, the 28th. I've entered in, call it 70 segments in 7 different projects. So that is the most time-consuming part of the application process. Right now I am waiting on LTAP. We have to submit our revised pavement asset management plan, which I did. Something got lost somewhere. They claim they didn't receive the objectives and measures portion of the submission, so I promptly copied the email that I sent originally into the reply and said, right here it is, you tell me what I'm missing. Haven't heard back from them, but I need to get that approved before I can submit. So that's kind of the holding on that. There's a question in there is, do you have all your bid documents and right-of-way acquired and everything? We're not acquiring any more right-of-way for these projects, but I started working on the bid documents. Hopefully I get those complete before I submit so I can say, yes, we're good to go. They're looking for shovel-ready projects and things. So.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't bid those until January or February of next year anyways. Like if you remember with our chip seal project, you have to bid it in the year that you're doing it. So I can't know how much weight they'll put on that when they're evaluating applications on whether it's completely shovel ready or not. On to the department operations. We have, it was a little behind schedule, but the last month or so has been kind of rough on the pavement marking industry with the weather, but we did get started last week on doing some pavement striping on some roads that were chip sealed last year, some roads that were chip sealed this year, and some roads that just haven't had any striping put on them for a number of years. So we're doing what we can there. I know there's more to be done. We'll work on it again next year. We are berming. We continue to berm. It's in preparation to improve roads for next year. People sometimes don't appreciate us working on the road right away on their property, and I just want everyone to understand it's in anticipation of improving your road, and you've got to have drainage. You've got to get that water off the road. That's the reason that we do it, is so that we can get the water off the road and into what hopefully there's a ditch there. The main problem with road maintenance is drainage. The water will either turn to mud or it will freeze and heave the road up and blow it up. That's when you get potholes. So we've got to do it. We're going to continue to do it, and sometimes people just need to be educated. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, but we're going to continue to do that. We're working on doing some brushing. Sometimes people don't like that, but we get complaints from school buses and trucks, and when we're chip sealing, when we've got our beds up, we can't have limbs and leaves falling down into our fresh oil and chip seal. We need to keep the roadway open, and so we're working on brushing and mowing. We're working on patching. We've got cold mix, we've got our total patcher. We're working on, today we were working on Fry Road up Crooked Lake. Got a report at lunchtime. there's quite a bit of work to be done up there, so we got total patcher up there and making it better. That's our goal, is to make it better. We continue to work on drainage, cutting ditches, replacing drainage pipes, replacing culverts. Had a meeting with our bridge inspector this morning. We're working towards finalizing the report for this year's inspections. There's a lot of new requirements that come down to the federal highway as far as load analysis and scour critical structures and plans of action and other things. So we're working through that. And I mentioned we've been kind of working with a little bit of building and grounds maintenance and cleanup. So that's all I have.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brandon. One thing, a question I had is, what was the total number of dollars that we're talking about with the grant?
Community crossing.
Community Crossings grant.
Well, for what I'll be applying for this time, it's up to $1 million.
Okay.
It's based on probably a conservative estimate. I'm estimating at about between 1.5 and 1.6 million for the whole project, all 7 projects. So if we get $1 million, then we would contribute, $500,000-600,000 and get a lot of work done. Last year we applied for the same $1 million. We got $670,000 because they didn't have enough to give everybody the $1 million. So at least everybody got something.
Okay. Any other questions for Brandon?
No, but actually came in text form the other day about 700 north at Loon Lake and stop signs.
Yeah, we get those requests a couple times
And
a year.
I responded, stop signs so people slow down.
Yeah.
I responded back, Indiana manual says you cannot use a stop sign as a speed control device. So I just, and I've not heard any more, but that's right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Indiana manual on uniform traffic control devices, and it absolutely specifically says you don't use stop signs for speed control. And the reason is because people are already in a hurry. If you make them stop 3 times to get through Loon Lake, they're just it's gonna be slam on the brakes and slam on the accelerator, slam on the brakes and slam, and they're gonna be upset and they're not gonna pay attention, and it's not proper. It's already posted at 20 mile an hour. There's not much more we can do. We had the Lake Association people in here. By own admission, it's the residents of Loon Lake that are the ones that are speeding. So, self-police or call the police. There's nothing more the commissioners or the highway department can do.
I also mentioned to Brandon that I got a call probably now a month ago about striping Old Trail East, and Brandon said that it was going to happen. And this doesn't happen often, but I got a call thanking me for striping Old Trail East. So that's just one of a lot of roads, right?
That's one of a lot of roads. Yeah, I think we were all together and about a little over 500,000 feet total.
Yeah.
We're doing some on county line south of 30. And some on county line south of 14. Those, and we're also doing Lincoln Way West. Those roads all have not just center lines, but they have edge lines.
Edge lines, good.
And then the rest of the roads that we're doing are all center lines, whether they're double yellow or skips. And skips you do 10 and 40, so that 40-foot counts as 10. But yes, there's.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, we got some right-of-way permits here.
Oh, okay. You got a couple signed contracts I need to.
Okay, the first one we have is for North Wolf Road and Old Business 30. Provide nursing homes, Elks Nursing Home with Ethernet services. That's from CenturyLink.
Correct, and that project does cross an open regulated drain Purdue, give consent for further structure for that facility improvement.
Yeah, move to approve it.
Second.
Motion to approve, we've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same.
Sir.
Go ahead and read that one.
Okay. Next one is, will take place on the River Road, 8201 West River Road. Replace existing, do you know what this
It's a
is?
service, I believe.
BSW?
BSW.
Is that what that says?
I think three-pair BSW.
Here, BSW.
Replacing,
Buried service wire.
yeah, there you go.
Buried service wire? Wow.
Yeah, service.
Pretty good, huh?
Move to
Yeah.
approve it.
Second.
Got a motion, we got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same. Okay, the next one we have is also a right-of-way permit for South 650 West and South. So Whitley, it's provide buried service wire to the location. And again, it's CenturyLink.
Move to approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, we've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same. Thank you. Okay, the next one we have is from NIPSCO. It's for County Road 200 East, tie gas main for Quail Ridge Apartment Complex into a gas main on 200 East.
Make a motion to approve. Second. Okay.
Did you not get that?
Stand by.
And that's not, that's not even our road. I don't know how many times a day do people have to be told.
Is that the city now?
Sorry.
Is that the city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
East at Eagle.
It's that one that goes back to, yeah.
Just the top of it, yeah.
That's not our.
So they,
Well, let me see that.
so the city would deal with that then? Did I do it?
Filtering the west side of 200, wouldn't it be?
Well, I'm on west side of 205, but if it's for Quail Ridge, certainly.
But if it goes to Quail Ridge, it's gotta be their side.
Yeah, right. Unless it
But
comes.
necessarily, it
Unless
could be a
comes
tie.
from the north. No, that's not.
Is there's the city?
Okay, good.
Is that it?
That's all I had. Thank you.
Yes, did you?
Okay, next on the agenda, we have claims. Motion to approve payroll claims.
So moved. Excuse me, so moved.
Easy for you to say. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. What do we do with regular claims here?
With regard to regular claims, the chairman went through them, checked them today. Did you have any issues with them?
I didn't see anything at all.
Then I make a motion, we approve the regular claims.
Got a motion to approve regular claims.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, motion to approve minutes.
I read the minutes online. I would make a motion, we approve them.
Second.
Got a motion to approve. We've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, I have, we have the amended 2018 accounts payable schedule from Jana. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Okay, and that is for, because we switched over to remote claims with all of the department heads, we needed to give them a more set schedule because it changed a little bit to give them a little bit more time to get them entered. So, and actually after talking with Angie too, we also need to put a due date for the actual claim forms for everyone, so I'm going to amend it actually one more time, just so it's a little bit more clear and easier to follow for everybody.
You want this passed since you're going to amend it again?
I was going to say, if you guys would approve me amending it to the dates that they're due, which is like for October 1st, they're actually due and have to be entered by this Wednesday. And it's the same cycle every 2 weeks.
Oh, I see what we're doing. This was for the balance of this year because of the way we're
Yes.
changing it. I got you.
Yep, and I also
I
have
got
to
you.
change next year's, but I haven't changed.
I would make a motion, we approve the amended 2018 accounts payable. For some reason, I had 2019 in my head. I apologize.
Okay, yeah, second.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the 2018 accounts payable, the amended schedule. We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Do you want us to do anything here?
Nope, just the
Okay. Angie?
Just a reminder that Wagner Irwin Shealy will be on site a week from Wednesday, meeting with the remaining department heads and meeting with you guys as well as council for briefing meetings. And other than that, I think we're good to go.
I want to congratulate Jana and her group for shortening their time here, because I think that they expected that they were going to be here a lot longer than what they did.
yeah, sorry.
Matt? Commissioner?
Nothing.
Commissioner? This is too easy.
Ron, do you have anything? Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on a minute. Scott.
Sorry, Scott.
Janice, it's up by you know not on the agenda. I have here from the court an almost emergency order. The only difference is we're dealing with a bunch of mice and not rats. So if you just want to call them baby rats, you can if you want. Under state law, we're allowed to condemn homes and things like that for rats, but since they're just mice, it's an issue. We have an abandoned house out at Goose Lake. It's been abandoned since March, and the neighbors complained about getting lots of mice in their house. And after walking in there twice now and hearing them moving around and having the people from Protex there watching them jump around as they move through the house, we got a court order last Friday. Signed today.
Man.
That's just the living room. The rest of the house is like that as well, but that's just the living room. I don't think you needed more than just one picture to show the issue.
Well, you know, as a paramedic, I've been in a lot of bad places, but that one would be pretty close.
So yeah, there's food and all kinds of stuff there. But so we got an order. We were at the court last week. The representative lawyer from Huntington Bank was there and agreed to allow the county to move ahead, which is unusual.
Yeah.
So I guess they're going to expected to pay this bill once we have it done. Then I contacted Protex, which is one of the few companies that kind of do this kind of work. And they were out there this morning. I met with them, walked through the house again with them. And as you can see, he has provided a quote there. You do have the quote, correct?
Yes. $36.50.
I'm having trouble getting past the picture, so hang on a second.
I'm going to put this on my job description that I go into hazardous locations.
Hey, I got it.
Diseases. That might should raise my...
You'll get the same extra pay that we always got for going in there, too, so. Wow.
So Scott, was somebody living in there recently?
Yes, in March they moved out. It's going through the foreclosure process. The bank has taken possession of that property, but nothing's moved. The neighbor's been mowing the yard for it, and the neighbor's like, hey, the mice are just terrible. We've been killing them weekend after weekend. And we moved as fast as we could when it comes to court of law. But like I said, we were out there Friday, then this morning. So this is what they're advertising, and they said that they actually will bait the property as well. So they'd like to go in this today or tomorrow and bait it, so maybe kill off the vermin before they step in there and have to bandage their pant legs shut. So
I'm sorry, what exactly are we paying for then?
This would be all the cleaning of the property, so all the stuff you see in the picture, all the rooms that have all the clothes and
So
debris.
we're not going to tear this house down?
No, we're just going to clean it, bait it for extermination so that we don't continue to spread the vermin to the other neighbors. And then the lien will go to the bank and they'll pay it and hopefully then sell it, put it back on market, and somebody will inhabit the house. The structure's still good. They're on sanitary sewer. I don't see any reason why we would want to.
Oh, that's good.
There's no
That's
other
good.
hazardous residue that I'm aware of, just the trash and the vermin.
So we're approving the claim for Protex?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm asking you for, and that would be out of probably the demo fund that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And just as a notice, I'll be coming back in October for the Bossicker cleanup. And we also have 2 meth houses I'll probably by the end of the year for cleanup too, so.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve the expenditure of $36.50 to demouse the house.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the payment of $36.50 to Protex.
To do what to it?
Demouse the house.
Demounts the house. Second.
We got a second? Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
West Pleasant Street.
That so far still with the attorney and the physician regarding that gentleman living there and whether he should be removed or not. I think the county's position, we're more than wanting to do that. Sometimes the physician's hesitant to go along with those things. The house isn't suitable. I mean, you can smell it from the street.
Yeah.
I don't want to go in there either, but
No, that'd be another one you wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
I got it, but
Again, that's in city limits too, so.
He just doesn't deserve, he does not deserve that. Oh. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. By the way, Scott is our health department director also.
Yeah.
Mary,
So,
thanks
now-
never cease, do they?
Lana,
do you have
do you have anything for us today?
I'm sorry, I do not. I wish I did.
You're not going to say, I have here in my hand a charter.
I would love to say, today I have a charter from IDEM, and you officially have a regional sewer district. Unfortunately, it's IDEM, and we were supposed to have an order 2 weeks ago at maximum. They said it'll take up to 5 weeks to sign the order. That was 7 weeks ago as of today. We have a regional sewer district board meeting tomorrow evening. We're going to be doing administrative things and making sure that that board is ready to actually vote on projects and we're establishing. And hoping the stars align, and by October we'll be voting on projects, and then when those projects move forward, we'll be talking to the commissioners about funding, engineering, design, whichever projects the board decides that they believe should be moving forward. Next round. So, I wish I had a really.
And this is redundant, but the expenses we put out are reimbursable once we have a charter, once we apply for loans and grants.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, to reiterate Don's point, everything that we've been spending up until this point, we've got to get to loan closing time with SRF, and at that point, we will submit a big payment tab for everything spent, every cost that's been incurred up to that point, and it'll all just come back at once.
Promise.
Promise.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I see also in the audience we have Julia Serber. Is it VIS?
VS Engineering.
VS Engineering, yeah. Glad to have you here today.
Hi, Julie. Anyone else have anything? Yes.
I got a question. Like, for our recycle program, I mean, is this a recycle program for our ecology, or is this a recycle program for them to profit?
Well, it's more for the, I guess, ecology. It's not a profit.
We don't take questions from the back, Vince.
Okay, well, I didn't know.
Well, I mean, if you're...
The problem I'm having is them taking stuff out of the recycle cans, breaking bottles in the middle of the road, and not cleaning up their mess. There's one I cleaned up. The following week, they did down the road again, and I called them and I said, hey, can you come clean this mess up this time? I'm not going to clean it up. It was down between my house, my property, and my neighbors. But I have a whole bunch of photographs over the last summer of them throwing stuff on the ground, breaking.
Hey, I'm going to stop you because you want to talk to the solid waste board.
I've tried the whole solid waste board. Well, you guys
Yeah,
aren't.
no, you have it because we're on the solid waste board. The next meeting is October 15th. Let me confirm that. Now, secondly, these kinds of things, are you calling Whitley Environmental?
I'm calling the people picking them up, trying to get them to straighten it up and not throw stuff on the ground. They did it again a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you want to look at these pictures or not, but they're all around the lake. I don't go all over the county, but I have been drove all around the lake. There's pictures from all over. Those are from all over the summer, not all at one time. Now they're starting to taking stuff under the dumpsters and knock them over, and then it breaks. Then it lays out in the middle of the road and blows around. Well, if this is a recycle program, they need to be taking stuff, but they're not saying that they can't sell it. That's what I was told. They can't sell it, they don't want it. Well, that means that there's a for profit, not for the ecology.
Well, that's
Well, there are certain things that they
partially
can't get rid of.
That's partially true.
They absolutely are not going to take styrofoam.
Styrofoam is styrene plastics they're injected. All they have to do is heat it up and melt it down.
No. No, they're not going to take it. Just get that in your head. They're not going to take it.
But they don't need to put it on the ground either, Don.
It should be left in a container.
Well, see, what they do here, I don't have a problem with that, but you know what that guy's gonna do next time? He's gonna put it right back in there probably.
Well, probably is.
But I'm saying, but when they put stuff on the ground, I've called the sheriff's department 3 times. They come up, they looked at it, said they'd go talk to them. Yeah, they're continually doing it. I called the sheriff's department, talked to the officer, come out, and he hasn't responded to me.
Yeah, where's this? What lake's this?
Around Blue Lake.
Railroad.
Well, no, I drove around the lake last time. Several of them are.
Okay.
I could show you dates and stuff with my phone. I
Okay.
made a bunch of pictures.
October 15th, 5 o'clock.
Where's that?
Here, I'll write it down for you.
Okay. I appreciate it. I didn't know where to turn next. I know, I've been tried to them, I tried to, sheriff said they went out and talked to them, they still didn't do any good, so. I mean, littering's littering. I don't care what, if you throw it on the ground, you're littering.
You know where the solid waste building is?
Is that the one down the line?
Yep.
South Line Street, across the tracks.
That's where they used to recycle, isn't it? I believe.
And I'm going to write the number down here so that you can call and tell him that you've talked to us and you want on the agenda.
Okay. And I appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a wonderful.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too, guys.
I've got a couple of things still. Community Corrections is asking us to approve the advisory board and executive committee meetings for 2019.
Oh, okay. I see. Darn, okay.
Move we approve them.
Okay, we got a motion to approve, we got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same. Thank you. Please. Also, we had tabled the last time our ordinance for restraining of dogs and disturbing the peace by domestic animals. Matt still is looking into that right now, so we'll further table this.
Yeah. It had to do with where the money goes for the fine.
Right.
Do we just leave it tabled, or do we have to do it again?
Well, I'll just make a motion, we table it until the next meeting, and that way we'll have it.
Got a motion to table till the next meeting.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand. Opposed the same. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could for just a second, because I forgot this.
Sure.
I'd like to start talking about an ordinance against blowing your grass out onto the roadway. It is a dangerous situation, especially for bicyclists and motorcyclists. And I would just like us to at least investigate the possibility of an ordinance against it. And I can see them mowing and blowing the grass out on the roadway, but all they have to do is make sure nobody's coming, get back out, and go the other direction and blow it back in. So it's a very dangerous thing for especially bicyclists and motorcyclists. It's like, if it gets wet, it's just like ice, so.
Report back whether it's possible to do that, and then we'll go from there. Is that kind of like the first step? Okay. Okay. We'll find out.
Okay, I think that's everything on our agenda. We'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.